Good evening, and welcome to another journey into the quiet corners of history, where the past unfolds like a tapestry woven with care. Tonight, we step into the ancient kingdom of Axum, a land of rugged highlands and shimmering red seaports nestled in what is now Ethiopia and Eritrea. From around the 1st century to the 10th, Axum thrived as a crossroads of trade and faith, its people bound to the rhythm of the seasons and the will of their gods. Imagine yourself there, in a world of stone houses and sacred stelae, where every day was shaped by toil, devotion, and the hum of distant caravans. As we explore, let these stories settle over you like a soft blanket, inviting you to drift through time. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let the ancient world carry you gently toward rest. Our first step takes us to the fields, where life as an Axumite farmer tested the endurance of body and spirit. Imagine yourself rising before dawn in the Axumite highlands, the air crisp and heavy with the scent of dry earth. You are a farmer, one of countless souls who tilled the rocky slopes to feed a kingdom that stretched from the Red Sea to the Ethiopian interior. Your day begins in darkness, the stars still sharp above the jagged silhouette of distant mountains. Your home is a modest stone shack, its walls cool to the touch, its floor packed earth, soft by a woven reed mat. The faint glow of a clay lamp flickers as you pull on a rough linen tunic, already patched from months of wear. Outside, the world is stirring the low bleat of goats, the rustle of acacia trees in the morning breeze. Your task is to coax life from the land, a constant struggle against the sun's relentless heat and the fickle rains. You grasp a wooden ard, a simple plough with an iron tip, and lead your ox to the fields. The soil is stubborn, studded with stones that dull your tools and strain your shoulders. You guide the plough in careful furrows, planting teff, a tiny grain that'll become the sour, spongy bread that sustains you. The work is slow, your back bending under the weight of repetition, sweat mingling with dust on your skin. By midday, the sun blazes overhead, and you pause in the shade of a lone tree, sipping water from a gourd, its taste faintly earthy. Your meal is simple. A handful of teff porridge, perhaps a few lentils, chewed slowly to stretch the meager portion. The rhythm of your life is dictated by the seasons. In the wet months, you pray for just enough rain to nourish the crops without washing them away. In the dry season, you watch the sky with quiet dread, knowing a late monsoon could mean hunger for your family. Locusts, too, are a shadow over your fields, their chittering swarms capable of stripping your harvest in hours. You share your yield with the king's collectors, who arrive with clay tablets to tally your tribute. Refusal is unthinkable taxes fuel Axum's trade, its armies, its towering stelae. Yet the weight of their demands presses on you, a reminder of your place in this ordered world. Your evenings are spent in the dim light of your home, mending tools or weaving baskets from dried grass. The air carries the faint scent of burning dung, used for fuel, mingling with the aroma of roasting grain from a neighbor's fire. Children's laughter or a distant hymn to the old gods drifts through the village, a reminder of community amid the toil. But illness is never far. Malaria from the lowlands, or a fever from tainted water, could claim a loved one without warning. You offer a small prayer to the spirits of the land, hoping for protection as you lie on your mat. The night's coolness, a fleeting relief before tomorrow's labor begins anew. Life as an Axumite farmer was a testament to resilience, each day a quiet battle to wrest sustenance from a harsh land. As we leave these fields, let us turn to a figure who rose above them, shaping Axum's destiny with vision and faith. As the sun dips below the Axumite highlands, casting long shadows over the fields you toiled in, let us turn from the farmer's quiet struggle to a figure who shaped the kingdom's destiny. Picture the city of Axum, its stone palaces rising from the plateau, their walls etched with the symbols of a burgeoning empire. Here, in the 4th century, a young king named Ezana ascended the throne, his life a tapestry of ambition, faith, and transformation. His story, woven into the annals of Axum, carried the kingdom to new heights, yet it was marked by challenges that tested his resolve. Settle into this tale, letting its steady cadence guide you deeper into the past. Ezana was born into a world of trade and tradition, where Axum's merchants carried gold and ivory to Rome and India, and its priests offered sacrifices to gods of sun and earth. As a boy, he would have walked the bustling streets of Ak, the air thick with the scent of frankincense from market stalls and the clang of blacksmiths shaping iron. His father, King Ella Amida, ruled a kingdom already renowned, its wealth built on the Red Sea's trade routes. But Ezana's childhood was not one of ease. The court was a place of whispers, where advisors vied for influence and distant tribes tested Axum's borders. Imagine him, a young prince, learning to wield a spear and read Jier's script, his days filled with lessons in governance and the weight of expectation. By his early 20s, Ezana inherited the throne, his coronation held beneath the shadow of a towering stele, a stone pillar carved with prayers to the old gods. The kingdom he ruled was vast but fragile, its prosperity tied to the fickle currents of trade and the loyalty of far-flung governors. Ezana's early reign was marked by military campaigns to secure Axum's frontiers. He led warriors clad in linen tunics, their shields glinting in the sun, against the Bija tribes to the north, whose raids disrupted caravan routes. These conflicts were not glorious spectacles but grueling marches across arid plains, where dust-coated throats and the clash of spears left lives quietly lost. Yet Ezana's leadership brought stability, his victories ensuring that caravans could once more carry myrrh and emeralds to distant shores. The turning point of Ezana's reign came with a quiet but profound shift. His conversion to Christianity, influenced by a Syrian missionary named Frumentius, Ezana embraced the new faith, making Axum one of the first Christian kingdoms in the world. Imagine the moment perhaps in a stone-walled chamber, lit by flickering oil lamps, where Ezana heard tales of a single god and a promise of salvation. This was no sudden decree, but a gradual transformation, as he ordered crosses carved onto coins and churches built atop ancient shrines. The old gods marked and after faded into the highlands' memory, their altars replaced by altars to Christ. Yet this change stirred unrest. Priests of the old ways grumbled, and villagers clung to rituals of sun and moon, creating a tension Ezana navigated with careful diplomacy. His faith reshaped Axum's place in the world. Ezana sent envoys to Constantinople, forging ties with the Roman Empire, their ships laden with ivory crossing paths on the Red Sea. He waged campaigns in South Arabia, not for conquest, but to protect Christian allies, his armies marching through dust and heat to secure trade routes. These efforts were costly, resources drained, families left without sons, but they cemented Axum's reputation as a power rivaling Rome and Persia. Inscriptions from his reign, carved in stone, speak of victories and piety, yet they hint at the burdens he carried, a king torn between tradition and a new divine calling. Ezana's later years are less clear, lost to the sands of time. He likely ruled into middle age, his hair graying as he oversaw a kingdom transformed by his hand. His legacy endured in the churches that dotted Axum's hills, their chants echoing through the centuries, as you imagined him standing atop a palace balcony, gazing over fields and stele. Let his story settle over you, a tale of a man who bridged worlds, his triumphs and struggles a quiet rhythm in the night. As Ezana's reign fades into history's embrace, we turn to a mystery that has puzzled scholars for centuries, the towering stele that still stand in Axum's fields, silent sentinels of a forgotten purpose. As the story of King Ezana fades into the twilight of Axum's past, imagine yourself standing in a field just beyond the city's heart, where massive stone pillars rise against the horizon. These are the stele of Axum, towering monoliths that have stood for nearly 2 millennia, their surfaces weathered by time and the highland sun. Some reach as high as a 10-story building, their tips piercing the sky like silent sentinels. The air around them carries the faint scent of dry grass and dust, and in the quiet of dawn, you can almost hear the echoes of the hands that shaped them. These stele are a mystery, their purpose debated by scholars and whispered about in local tales. Were they tombs, victory markers, or something more celestial? Let us wander among them, unraveling their enigma in the gentle rhythm of history. Picture yourself walking across the stony ground, your sandals crunching softly as you approach the largest stele, known today as the Great Stele. It stands over 80 feet tall, though it lies broken, its fragments scattered like a giant's fallen spear. Carved from a single block of granite, its surface is etched with intricate pattern throws of false windows, mimicking the timbered houses of Axum's elite. The precision is astonishing, each line chiseled with tools of bronze and stone, the work of countless laborers under the relentless sun. You can imagine their calloused hands, the clink of chisels, and the creak of ropes as they hauled these stones from quarries miles away. The effort was monumental, a testament to Axum's ambition, yet the great stele never stood upright for long. Its collapse, perhaps during erection, remains a quiet tragedy etched into the earth. Other stele still stand, their bases anchored deep in the soil. Some are topped with crescent moons, symbols of Axum's pre-Christian gods, while later ones bear crosses, reflecting Azana's Christian turn. As you trace your fingers along their weathered edges, you sense the weight of their creation. Workers toiled for years, their lives consumed by the task, their sweat mingling with the dust. The stele were not mere decorations, they marked something profound. Archaeologists suggest they stood over royal tombs, housing the remains of kings like Azana, their underground chambers filled with gold and ivory. Yet no bodies have been found in many, leaving questions unanswered. Were they emptied by looters, or were the stele symbolic, meant to honor the dead without holding them? Another theory whispers of a celestial purpose. The stele's alignment catches the Isam point toward the solstice or key stars, like those the Axumites used to time their planting. Imagine priests standing here at dusk, their robes fluttering, observing the heavens to guide the kingdom's rituals. The crescent moons atop older stele evoke Ma, the god of the moon, suggesting a link to ancient worship. Yet the shift to crosses hints at a blending of faiths, as Christianity reshaped Axum's skyline. The stele could have been a bridge between earth and sky, a way to mark time or appease divine forces. You can almost feel the weight of those moments, the soft chants of priests mingling with the bleat of distant goats. Local legends offer another layer. Elders in Axum's villages speak of the stele as gifts to the gods, erected to ensure prosperity or ward off calamity. Some say they were raised by giants, a poetic nod to their sheer scale. These stories, passed down through generations, carry the hum of oral tradition, their truth softer than stone but no less enduring. As you stand among the stele, the wind carries a faint chill, and the silence feels alive with questions. Why did the Axumites pour such effort into these pillars? Why did some fall, while others endure? The answers lie buried, perhaps in the soil beneath your feet, or in the faded memories of a kingdom long past. The stele remain, silent and steadfast, their mystery a quiet invitation to wonder. As we leave this field of stone, let us step into the world of those who stood above the farmers, the merchants whose wealth fueled Axum's glory. As the enigmatic stele fade into the highland haze, imagine yourself stepping away from the farmers' rocky fields and the silent stones of Axum's past. Now, picture a different life, one of wealth and movement, where the air hums with the clink of coins and the scent of exotic spices. You are an Axumite merchant, a member of the elite whose trade fueled the kingdom's glory from the 1st to the 10th century. Your world is one of stone villas, bustling ports, and far-reaching caravans, yet it is not without its burdens. Settle into this quieter rhythm, where the pulse of commerce and the weight of responsibility blend, carrying you deeper into the ancient world. Your day begins in a spacious home on the outskirts of Axum, its walls built of smooth-hewn stone, cool against the morning air. The floor is swept clean, adorned with woven mats, dyed in soft ochre and indigo. You rise from a low wooden bed, its frame carved with simple geometric patterns, and don a fine linen robe, its hem embroidered with threads traded from distant India. The scent of honey wine lingers from last night's meal, served in a clay goblet etched with crosses, a nod to the Christian faith that now shapes the kingdom. Your household stirs servants grind teff in the courtyard, their pestles tapping a steady rhythm, while the faint bleat of goats drifts from a nearby pen. Your wealth comes from trade, the lifeblood of Axum, and your mornings are spent planning. You sit at a low table, its surface strewn with clay tablets, scratched with Gia script, tallying shipments of ivory, frankincense, and gold. The air carries the faint musk of myrrh, stored in sealed jars for the next caravan. You meet with partners, their voices low and deliberate, as you negotiate deals to send goods to Rome, Persia, or the ports of South Arabia. The Red Sea is your lifeline, its turquoise waters carrying your ships to Agilis, Axum's thriving port. But the sea is unpredictable. Storms can sink your cargo, and pirates lurk near the horizon, their dhows a silent threat. Each venture is a gamble, your fortune tethered to the winds and waves. By midday, you walk to the market, your sandals slapping against the packed earth. The bazaar hums with life. Merchants hawk ostrich feathers, their vibrant plumes catching the sun, while others offer tortoise shells or shimmering emeralds from the south. The air is thick with the tamps of salted fish, the sweetness of dates, and the sharp bite of incense burning at a nearby shrine. You barter with a trader from Himyar, exchanging your ivory for their saffron, your words measured to mask your eagerness. The crowd presses close, a weave of linen tunics and jingling bracelets, but you remain vigilant. Pickpockets blend into the throng, and a bad deal could tarnish your name. Your status brings privilege, but also duty. You host feasts for fellow merchants, serving roasted kid and injera spread with spiced lentils. The table lit by oil lamps, casting soft shadows on the walls. These gatherings are not mere indulgence. They are where alliances are forged, and news of distant markets is shared. Yet the king's officials watch closely, their tablets ready to record your taxes, a portion of your wealth claimed for Axum's churches and armies. Displeasing the court could mean losing favor, or worse, your trading rights. You also fund local monasteries, your gold supporting monks who pray for your soul, their chants a faint echo in the evening air. As night falls, you retire to your villa, the air cooling as stars emerge above the highlands. Your life is one of luxury compared to the farmer's toil, but it is not without strain. The weight of each shipment, the risk of loss, and the need to maintain your standing keep you ever watchful. You lie on your bed, the distant call of a nightbird mingling with the rustle of palm frond, and reflect on the delicate balance of your world. Axum's wealth flows through your hands, but it is a fragile thread eagerly snapped by misfortune. As the merchant's world of trade and negotiation settles into the night, let us turn to a craft that defined Axum's prestige, a quiet art that gleamed in the markets and courts. As the merchant's bustling world fades into the quiet of an Axumite evening, imagine yourself stepping into a different corner of this ancient kingdom. Picture a small workshop in the heart of Axum, its stone walls warmed by the glow of a charcoal brazier. The air carries the sharp tang of molten metal and the earthy scent of clay molds, mingling with the distant murmur of a marketplace winding down. You are an artisan, a master of minting coins, crafting the gleaming gold, silver, and bronze discs that proclaim Axum's wealth and power. This craft, meticulous and revered, was a cornerstone of the kingdom's prestige, one of the first in Africa to issue its own currency. Let the steady rhythm of this work, its careful precision, carry you deeper into the past, a gentle invitation to rest. Your day begins at dawn as you enter the workshop, a low-roofed space cluttered with tools and clay crucibles. You wear a simple linen tunic, stained with soot, your hands steady from years of practice. The floor is dusted with fine ash, and the walls are aligned with shelves holding molds and ingots. Your task is to create coins, each one a tiny ambassador of Axum's might. You start by heating a small gold ingot, sourced from the kingdom's southern mines, in a clay crucible over the brazier. The fire crackles softly, its warmth brushing your face as the metal softens, glowing like a captured sunrise. You pour the molten gold into a carved stone mold, your movements deliberate, the liquid metal hissing as it settles. The molds are your pride, each one painstakingly carved with symbols of Axum's identity. One side bears the king's profile, perhaps Azana himself, his crown and scepter etched in miniature, a testament to divine rule. The other side carries a cross, a nod to the kingdom's Christian faith, or, in earlier times, a crescent moon honoring the old god Ma. You work with a fine chisel, your fingers tracing the GS script that spells out the king's name or a blessing. The air is heavy with the scent of cooling metal, and the repetitive tap of your hammer against the mold creates a soothing cadence, like a heartbeat in the quiet workshop. Each coin must be perfect, its weight exact to ensure trust in Axum's markets and beyond. You weigh the cooled discs on a small balance, its pans swaying gently as you add or shave slivers of metal. A flawed coin could disrupt trade, angering merchants who carry these discs to Rome or India, where they're exchanged for silk or spices. You polish each one with a soft cloth, their surfaces catching the light, their edges smooth against your fingertips. The work is slow, requiring patience that borders on meditation. Hours pass unnoticed, the world outside fading as you focus on the gleam of gold, the faint clink of coins stacking in neat rows. Your craft is not solitary. Apprentices move quietly around you, fetching charcoal or cleaning molds, their soft footsteps blending with the workshop's hum. Occasionally, a royal official visits, his cloak sweeping the floor, inspecting your work to ensure it meets the king's standards. These coins are more than currency. They are symbols of Axum's reach, carried across deserts and seas, handled by traders who marvel at their craftsmanship. Yet the work is taxing your eyes strain in the dim light. Your hands ache from gripping tools, and the brazier's heat leaves you parched. At day's end, you step outside, the cool highland air a relief, the stars above mirroring the glint of the coins you've crafted. As you rest, the weight of your role settles over you. Your coins bind Axum to the world, a quiet legacy forged in fire and care. Their shine endures, even as the kingdom's memory fades. As the gleam of Axum's coins lingers in the workshop's glow, let us turn to a monument that stood at the heart of the kingdom, a sacred space of stone and faith. As the glow of the coin minter's workshop fades into the quiet of an Axumite evening, imagine yourself stepping away from the city's bustle, your path leading upward into the rugged highlands. Picture a rocky plateau, where the air is thin and cool, scented with wild thyme and the faint dust of eroded stone. Before you stands Debra-Damo, a cliff-top monastery, its ancient stone walls rising like a sentinel against the endless sky. This sacred place, one of Axum's earliest Christian sanctuaries, was a marvel of faith and engineering, its isolation a testament to the kingdom's devotion. Let the stillness of this place, its walls whispering of centuries past, carry you deeper into history's gentle embrace. You begin your ascent, your hands gripping a rope ladder woven from toughened hemp, its fibers rough against your palms. The cliff face looms above, its surface pitted by wind and time. The climb demanding careful steps as the wind tugs at your linen cloak. Below, the highland valley stretches out, a patchwork of terrace fields and scattered villages, their fires twinkling in the dawn's half-light. The air grows cooler as you climb, the faint bleat of goats fading into silence. At the summit, you reach the monastery, its walls built of squared stone, fitted without mortars, their edges soft by centuries of weather. The structure is simple yet imposing, its low roof, thatched with dried grass, blending into the cliff's rugged crest. Step inside, and the world shifts. The interior is dim, lit only by slivers of light filtering through narrow windows, casting soft patterns on the stone floor. The air is heavy with the scent of frankincense, burned in small clay censers, its smoke curling upward like a prayer. The walls are adorned with faint traces of early Christian fresco crosses and saints painted in ochre and indigo, their colors faded but enduring. You can almost hear the soft shuffle of monks' sandals, their robes brushing the floor as they move in quiet reverence. The space feels alive, its silence a canvas for the chants that once echoed here, their melodies rising and falling like the rhythm of breath. Debra-Damo was more than a monastery. It was a refuge, built in the 6th century, perhaps during Azana's Christianizing reign or soon after. Its cliff-top perch was no accident. Its isolation protected monks from raiders and preserved their sacred solitude. Imagine the laborers who built it, hauling stones up the sheer cliff, their ropes creaking under the weight. The work was slow, each block set with precision, the builder's hands guided by faith as much as skill. The monastery's design reflected Axum's blend of cultures. Its stonework echoed local traditions, while its crosses and altars spoke of a faith imported from distant Rome. You can picture the monks at work, copying scriptures onto parchment, their quills scratching softly, preserving texts that tied Axum to a wider Christian world. The monastery was a place of pilgrimage, drawing devotees who braved the climb to pray or seek healing. You might have stood among them, your head bowed as a monk offered a blessing, the air thick with the murmur of Jia's prayers. The space was not grand like Axum's palaces, but its simplicity held a quiet power, its walls a shield against the chaos of the world below. Yet life here was not without hardship. Monks relied on supplies hauled up the cliff, their diet sparse barley, bread and water flavored with herbs. Storms could batter the plateau, and the isolation weighed on even the most devout. As you stand in the monastery's shadow, gazing out over the highlands, you feel the weight of its Debra-Damo stood as a beacon of Axum's faith, its stones holding the memory of a kingdom that bridged continents and creeds. Its silence invites you to linger, to let its stories settle over you like a soft veil. As the sacred stones of Debra-Damo fade into the highland dusk. Let us turn to the vibrant pulse of Axum's trade, where merchants met in a port alive with the world's riches. As the sacred solitude of Deborah Darmo fades into the highlands' quiet embrace, imagine yourself descending from the cliffs, your path winding toward the coast, where the Red Sea glimmers under a relentless sun. You arrive at Agilis Axum's bustling port, a gateway where the kingdom's wealth flowed in and out like the tides. The air is thick with the briny scent of salt water, mingled with the sharp tang of drying fish and the sweet aroma of frankincense bales stacked on the docks. You are a trader in this vibrant hub, navigating the chaos of commerce in the first 10th centuries, where every deal carries the promise of fortune and the shadow of risk. Let the steady hum of this port, its voices and rhythms, carry you deeper into the ancient world, a gentle invitation to rest. Picture yourself standing on the bustling waterfront, your sandals gritty with sand and salt. The harbor is alive with movement. Wooden dhows bob gently, their sails furled, while laborers haul and ferry of olive oil and baskets of ostrich feathers. The sun beats down, warming the stone quays, and the air hums with voices in Greek and Arabic, a chorus of traders from Rome, Arabia, and India. You wear a loose linen tunic, its hem damp from sea spray, and carry a leather pouch heavy with Axumite coins, their gold glinting as you barter. Your trade is in ivory, sourced from the southern hinterlands, its smooth tusks prized by distant artisans. You haggle with a Himyarite merchant, his turban bright against the crowd, offering your ivory for their saffron and myrrh, your voice calm but firm to mask the stakes. The port is a tapestry of scents and sounds. Stalls line the quay, their awnings flapping in the breeze, offering piles of shimmering tortoise shells and bundles of cinnamon bark. The clatter of clay jars, the creak of ropes, and the low bellow of oxen pulling carts blend into a soothing rhythm like the pulse of the sea itself. You pause to sip water from a clay cup, its coolness a fleeting relief, and nibble on a piece of injera, its sour, tense sharpened by a dab of spiced lentils. But vigilance is constant. Pickpockets weave through the crowd, their hands swift as shadows, and a careless deal could cost you months of profit. The king's officials linger nearby, their tablets ready to record taxes, ensuring Axum's coffers grow with every transaction. Your days are shaped by the tides and seasons. In the monsoon months, ships arrive laden with silk from India or wine from Rome, their crews weary but eager to trade. You inspect their goods under the shade of a palm canopy, running your fingers over the smooth weave of fabric or sniffing the pungent aroma of imported spices. But the sea is treacherous. Storms can swallow a ship whole, leaving your investments lost to the waves. Pirates to haunt the horizon, their swift boats a silent threat to unguarded vessels. You rely on gossip from sailors, their tales of distant ports shared over cups of barley beer, to plan your next venture. A good season could see your wealth grow, enough to buy a stone house in a bad one could leave you bartering scraps to survive. As evening falls, the port quiets, the sky turning a soft amber over the Red Sea. You linger by the docks, the air cooling as the scent of burning incense drifts from a nearby shrine. The day's deals replay in your mind, each coin exchanged, each bargain struck, a thread in Axum's vast web of trade. You return to a modest inn, its walls of mud brick, cool to the touch, and rest on a woven mat, the distant lapping of waves, a gentle lullaby. Your life is one of motion and calculation, a delicate balance between risk and reward, tying Axum to the world beyond. As the vibrant hum of Agilis port set us into the night, let us turn to a story that wove Axum into legend, a tale of a queen whose journey echoed across time. As the bustling port of Agilis fades into the twilight, its waves lapping gently against the shore, imagine yourself leaving the salty air of the docks behind. Picture a quiet evening in Axum, where the highlands stretch under a starlit sky, the air cool and scented with the faint smoke of village fires. You sit by a flickering oil lamp, its light dancing on the stone walls of a modest home, as an elder begins to weave a tale. This is the story of the Queen of Sheba, a legendary figure whose journey to Jerusalem, as told in the Kebra Nagast Axum's sacred chronicle, binds myth and history in a tapestry of wonder. Let the gentle cadence of this story, its blend of faith and mystery, carry you deeper into the past, a soft invitation to rest. The Kebra Nagast, or Glory of the Kings, is Axum's cherished text. Its verses passed down through generations, blending Christian devotion with ancient lore. As you settle into the tale, imagine the elder's voice, low and measured, recounting the queen's journey. She was a ruler of immense wisdom, her kingdom perhaps Axum itself, or a neighbor like Saba in South Arabia rich with gold and frankincense. The story begins in her palace, a grand structure of stone and cedar, its halls cooled by breezes carrying the scent of myrrh. She sits on a throne inlaid with ivory, her robes shimmering with gold thread. Her advisors gathered to hear tales of a distant king named Solomon, whose wisdom rivaled her own. Drawn by his fame, the queen embarked on a journey, her caravan stretching across deserts and mountains. Picture her procession, camels laden with spices and jewels, their hooves kicking up dust, the air heavy with the creak of wooden carts and the jingle of harnesses. Her attendants, clad in linen, fanned her with ostrich plumes, their movements slow under the sun's weight. The journey was long, spanning months across arid lands, the nights spent in tents where the air was thick with the scent of burning resin. You can almost feel the rhythm of the march, the steady plod of hooves, the soft murmur of prayers to guide them safely. Upon reaching Jerusalem, the queen met Solomon, their meeting a dance of intellect and diplomacy. The Kebra describes their exchanges not as fiery debates, but as thoughtful conversations, each question a step toward mutual respect. She gifted him gold, spices, and precious stones, their gleam reflecting in the palace's polished floors. In return, Solomon shared wisdom and treasures, their bond sealed by hospitality. The tale takes a mythic turn here, claiming the queen bore Solomon's son Mentlik, who would later bring the Ark of the Covenant to Axum, cementing its divine destiny. Imagine her return, her caravan now heavy with gifts, her heart carrying the weight of a new legacy. In Axum, this story was more than myth, it was a foundation. It tied the kingdom to biblical history, justifying its Christian rulers as heirs to Solomon's line. As you listen, the elder's voice weaves in details of Axum's pride. The church is built under Menelik's heirs, the coins stamped with crosses, the priests chanting under starlit skies. The tale is not without its shadows. Some whispered the queen faced scorn for her foreign ways, her journey a risk that tested her resolve. Yet these struggles are soft in the telling, the focus on her grace and the legacy she left. The Kebra Nagast endures in Ethiopia's memory, its verses still sung in churches, their words a bridge between Axum's past and present. As the elder's voice fades, you lie back on a woven mat, the night air cool, the story settling over you like a familiar lullaby. The Queen of Sheba's journey, real or mythic, wove Axum into the fabric of the world. As the Queen's legend lingers in the Highland night, let us turn to the lives of those who shaped Axum's society, the women whose strength and skill sustained its heart. As the mythic tale of the Queen of Sheba fades into the starlit quiet of an Axumite night, imagine yourself lingering in a highland village, where the air carries the faint scent of roasting teff and the distant murmur of voices. The glow of oil lamps spills from stone houses, casting shadows on the packed earth. Here, in the heart of Axum society, from the first 2 10th centuries, women wove the threads of daily life, their roles as vital as the merchant's gold or the priest's prayers. From market vendors to noblewomen, their hands shaped the kingdom's rhythm, balancing tradition and quiet influence. Let the steady pulse of their lives, their strength in the face of hardship, guide you deeper into this ancient world, a gentle invitation to rest. Picture yourself in a bustling market square, where a woman stands behind a stall, her fingers deftly arranging piles of dried lentils and bundles of wild herbs. She wears a simple linen dress, its hem dusted from the day's work, and a woven shawl draped over her shoulders to ward off the morning chill. Her voice is calm but firm as she barters with a trader, exchanging her grain for a small clay jar of oil, its surface slick in her hands. The market hums around her, the clink of Axumite coins, the chatter of children, the creak of ox carts laden with ivory. Her stall is modest, but her knowledge of prices and seasons makes her a respected figure, her words carrying weight among neighbors who rely on her harvests. Beyond the market, women worked the fields alongside men, their backs bent under the highland sun. Imagine one such woman, her hands calloused from wielding a hoe, breaking the rocky soil to plant teff. The air is thick with dust, the scent of turned earth mingling with her sweat as she moves in time with the ox's slow steps. Her day is long, stretching from dawn to dusk, yet she pauses to share a meal of injera with her family, the sour bread spread on a woven mat under a shade tree. Her life is one of endurance, her labor feeding not just her household, but the kingdom itself, as surplus crops flow to the king's yet her toil goes unrecorded, her name lost to the ages, her contribution a quiet cornerstone of Axum's prosperity. In the elite circles, women held different roles, their influence subtler but no less profound. Picture a noble woman in a stone villa, its walls adorned with carved crosses, the air scented with frankincense from a nearby censer. She oversees her household, directing servants to grind grain or weave linen. Her commands soft but authoritative. Her robes are finer, dyed with imported indigo, and her neck bears a necklace of gold beads, a gift from a merchant husband. She might fund a church, her wealth supporting monks who pray for her soul, their chants drifting through the evening air. Some noble women, like the legendary Candaces of Axum's southern neighbors, even led armies or advised kings, their voices shaping treaties or temple rites. Yet even these women faced constraints. Marriage bound many to alliances, their dowries of land or gold-sealing ties between families. Illness, too, was a constant shadow. Fevers from the lowlands could claim a child or sister, leaving grief to settle like dust. Women turned to healers, often other women who mixed herbal brews and whispered prayers to Saint Mary, blending Christian faith with old rituals. Imagine one such healer, her hands stained with crushed herbs, tending a fevered child by lamplight, her knowledge passed down through generations. Her work, like that of the vendor or noblewoman, wove Axum's social fabric, each thread a quiet act of resilience. As night falls, you can almost hear the soft hum of these women's lives, clack of looms, the laughter of children, the murmured blessings over a shared meal. Their stories, though rarely carved in stone, were the heartbeat of Axum, sustaining its fields, markets, and homes. As the lives of Axum's women fade into the village night, let us turn to a moment of conflict, a campaign that tested the kingdom's strength on distant shores. As the quiet strength of Axum's women settles into the soft hum of village life, imagine yourself leaving the highland homes behind, your path leading toward a distant horizon where dust rises from the earth. The air grows heavy with the scent of dry grass and the faint tams of iron, as we turn to a moment of conflict that tested Axum's resolve. In the 6th century, the kingdom waged campaigns across the Red Sea, clashing with South Arabian tribes to secure its trade routes and protect its Christian allies. These struggles, precursors to later battles like Odwa, were not grand spectacles but grueling tests of endurance, their outcomes shaping Axum's place in the world. Let the steady rhythm of this tale, its weight softened by time, carry you deeper into history's gentle embrace. Picture yourself standing on a rocky plain in South Arabia, the sun blazing overhead, its heat radiating from the cracked earth. You are among Axum's warriors, sent by the king, perhaps Caleb, Azana's successor, to defend Christian communities and secure the trade routes that carried frankincense to Axum's ports. Your linen tunic clings to your skin, damp with sweat, and you grip a wooden spear, its iron tip glinting faintly. The army is modest, a mix of highland farmers and trained soldiers, the shields of hide and wood strapped to their arms. The air carries the low murmur of commands in Gies, mingled with the creak of leather sandals and the snort of horses tethered nearby. The campaign began months ago, when Axum's ships crossed the Red Sea, their sails catching the monsoon winds. You landed near the Himyarite kingdom, where tribes had turned against Christian settlers, threatening the flow of myrrh and gold. The march inland was arduous, your feet blistered from sharp stones, your water gourd nearly empty under the relentless sun. Now, as you face the enemy, the horizon shimmers with their forces, warriors clad in loose robes, their curved swords catching the light. The clash, when it comes, is swift but harrowing. Spears meet shields with a dull thud, and the air fills with shouts and the clatter of weapons. Lives are lost on both sides, their sacrifice a quiet tragedy, the earth marked by their passing rather than stained with vivid horror. Axum's warriors fought with discipline, their lines holding firm as archers loosed arrows from behind. You can imagine the tension, the weight of each moment as you stood shoulder to shoulder, the dust rising like a veil. The battle's outcome favored Axum, the enemy retreating into the hills, their resolve broken. But victory came at a cost. Many of your comrades did not return, their absence felt in villages far across the sea. The campaign secured the trade routes, ensuring caravans could move freely, their camels laden with spices that would reach Rome and India. Yet the effort drained Axum's resources. Its treasury stretched to maintain garrisons in foreign lands. As the dust settled, you and your fellow warriors rested under a sparse acacia tree, its shade a fleeting relief. You shared a meal of injera and dried meat, the silence heavy with the memory of those who fell. The return to Axum was slow, the ships heavy with goods but lighter for the lives left behind. In the capital, priests offered prayers for the departed, their chants rising from stone churches, a solemn acknowledgement of the campaign's toll. The victory strengthened Axum's grip on the Red Sea, but it underscored the fragility of its power, each battle a reminder of the kingdom's limits. As you lie back under the Arabian stars, the night air cool against your skin, the campaign's echoes fade into a quiet resolve. Axum endured, its trade routes preserved, but the cost lingered in the hearts of those who fought. As the echoes of this distant campaign fade into the night, let us turn to the quiet arts of healing, where Axems, monks, and herbs soothed both body and soul. As the healing chants of Axum's monks fade into the highland night, imagine yourself stepping from the monastery's stone walls into the heart of the city, where the air is cool and scented with the faint dust of ancient streets. Picture a quiet chamber, its walls lined with wooden shelves, once heavy with scrolls and tablets inscribed in the curling script of G. This was the library of Axum, a repository of the kingdom's knowledge from the first 2/10th centuries, now lost to time. Its contents, histories, trade records, and Christian hymns remain a mystery, their absence a silent question mark in the story of a great civilization. Let the gentle enigma of this lost library, its whispers of forgotten wisdom, carry you deeper into the past, a soft invitation to rest. You stand in the imagined chamber, the floor of packed earth cooled beneath your feet, the air tinged with the musty scent of aged parchment and the faint smoke of oil lamps. The library, likely housed in a palace or church, was a place of reverence, where monks and scribes worked in hushed concentration. Picture a scribe at a low table, his reed pen scratching softly as he copies a hymn onto a goatskin scroll, its surface smoothed with pumice. The light flickers, casting shadows on the walls, where clay tablets and rolled manuscripts rest in neat rows. These texts were the kingdom's memory, recording the reigns of kings like Azana, the routes of caravans to India, or the prayers chanted in Axum's churches. The library's contents were vast, or so the fragments suggest. Some scrolls likely held chronicles of Axum's rise, detailing victories over Arabian tribes, or the conversion to Christianity. Others recorded trade lists of ivory shipped to Rome, or spices bartered in a Gelis port, their quantities etched in precise Ge'ez numerals. There may have been translations of Greek or Coptic texts, brought by missionaries, their pages blending Axum's faith with the wider Christian world. Imagine the scribe's careful hand, dipping his pen in ink made from charcoal and gum, his strokes preserving stories of the Queen of Sheba, or the rituals of old gods like Ma. The work was slow, each page a labor of ours, the air heavy with the scent of drying ink and wax seals. Yet this library is lost, its fate a puzzle that lingers in the highland dust. Some say it was housed in a church, perhaps near Debra-Damo, its scrolls burned when invaders swept through in later centuries. Others suggest it lay in Axum's royal palace, its contents scattered as the kingdom declined, looted by traders or buried under shifting sands. A few fragments survive stone inscriptions or scraps of Ge'ez text, but they hint at a wealth of knowledge now gone. Were there maps of Red Sea routes, their lines tracing paths to distant ports? Did poems or philosophies rival those of Greece? The silence of the lost library invites speculation, its absence a quiet ache in the historical record. You can picture the scribes at work, their robes brushing the floor, their faces lit by the soft glow of lamps. They wrote for posterity, unaware that their words would fade. Villagers, too, relied on these texts, their laws and rituals preserved in the library's care. As you stand in this imagined chamber, the air still, you feel the weight of what was lost, stories, wisdom, the heartbeat of a kingdom. Local elders still speak of hidden manuscripts, buried in caves or guarded by monks. Their tale is a faint echo of the library's glory. The mystery endures, a gentle riddle that settles over you like a dream. As the lost library's whispers fade into Axum's night, let us turn to a vibrant moment of celebration where the kingdom honored its faith with light and song. As the mystery of Axum's lost library fades into the quiet shadows of the city, imagine yourself stepping out into a highland evening where the air is cool and fragrant with the scent of burning incense and blooming jasmine. The streets of Axum in the first 10th centuries come alive with the glow of torches and the murmur of voices raised in song. You are part of a festival honoring St. Mary, a cornerstone of Axum's Christian faith, where villagers and nobles gather to celebrate with prayers, processions, and shared offerings. This sacred moment, vibrant yet serene, binds the community in devotion. Let the gentle rhythm of this festival, its lights and chants, carry you deeper into the ancient world, a soft invitation to rest. Picture yourself standing in a crowded square near a stone church, its walls etched with crosses, its roof thatched with dried grass. The sun has just set, and the sky is a deep indigo, speckled with stars. Torches line the square, their flames casting a warm glow on the faces around you, farmers in rough linen, merchants in embroidered robes, children clutching woven baskets of offerings. The air is thick with the sweet, resinous scent of frankincense, curling from clay censers swung by priests in flowing white garments. Their chants rise, a low, melodic hum in Giers, praising St. Mary as the Mother of Salvation, her name a beacon in Axum's Christian heart. You join the procession, your sandals scuffing the packed earth as you move toward the church. In your hands, you carry a small clay jar filled with teff grain, a humble offering for the altar. The crowd sways gently, their voices blending into a soft hymn, the words unfamiliar yet comforting, like a lullaby passed down through generations. Women lead the way, their shawls fluttering, some holding candles that flicker against the night. The procession winds through the streets, passing stone houses where families watch from doorways, their oil lamps casting pools of light. The air carries the faint crunch of footsteps and the rustle of linen, a rhythm as steady as the heartbeat of the kingdom. Inside the church, the atmosphere shifts. The walls are cool, the air heavy with the scent of wax and myrrh. A priest stands before a wooden altar, draped in embroidered cloth, his hands raised as he blesses the offerings, baskets of injera, jars of honey, and sprigs of wild herbs. You place your jar among them, its weight a small act of faith, and step back to join the congregation. The chants grow softer, their cadence soothing, as the priest recites prayers for protection and prosperity. The light from dozens of candles dances on the walls, their glow reflecting off carved crosses, creating a sense of timeless reverence. You can almost feel the warmth of the community, their shared devotion, a quiet strength. The festival is not all solemnity. Outside, the square fills with musica, low drumbeat, the pluck of a lyre, and the laughter of children chasing each other through the crowd. Tables are set with shared meals, platters of injera spread with spiced lentils, bowls of barley stew, and cups of tej, a honey wine that leaves a sweet warmth on the tongue. You sit on a woven mat, sharing bread with a neighbor, the act of eating a communion that binds the village. Stories are told, tales of St. Mary's miracles, or the Queen of Shaba's legacy, one softening into the night's embrace. The hardships of daily life, the toil of the fields, or the risks of trade seem distant in this moment of unity. As the festival winds down, the crowd thins, and you linger in the square, the air now cool and still. The final chants fade, leaving only the crackle of dying torches and the rustle of leaves in the breeze. The festival has renewed the kingdom's spirit, its devotion to St. Mary a thread that weaves through Axum's Christian centuries. You return home, your heart light, the memory of the night's warmth, a gentle comfort as you settle onto your mat. As the festival's glow settles into the Axumite night, let us turn to the twilight of the kingdom itself, a slow decline that reshaped its legacy. As the warm glow of the festival for St. Mary fades into the quiet of an Axumite night, imagine yourself standing on a hill overlooking the kingdom's capital, where stone palaces and towering stelae catch the last light of dusk. The air is cool, scented with the faint dust of eroded paths and the distant smoke of village fires. From the 7th to 8th centuries, Axum, once a beacon of trade and faith, began to fade, its power waning under the weight of shifting climates, rival empires, and fading trade routes. This slow decline, a gentle unraveling of a great civilization, reshaped the Horn of Africa. Let the soft cadence of this story, its quiet ebb and flow, carry you deeper into history's embrace, a gentle invitation to rest. Picture the city of Axum in its twilight years, its streets still bustling but quieter now, the hum of merchants and pilgrims soft by time. The markets, once overflowing with ivory and frankincense, see fewer caravans, their camels trudging wearily under lighter loads. The Red Sea, Axum's lifeline, grows less reliable as Arab traders rise in the north, their ships diverting goods to new ports in the Persian Gulf. The air carries the scent of drying teff and the faint temps of salt from distant Agilis, but the harbor's docks are less crowded, the creak of ships' timbers less frequent. You can imagine walking these streets, your sandals scuffing the worn stones, sensing a change in the kingdom's rhythm. The decline began subtly, rooted in the land itself. The highlands, where farmers like you once toiled, faced shifting rains. Monsoons grew erratic, leaving fields parched or flooded, the soil less yielding to the plough. Terraces that once bloomed with teff and barley produced thinner harvests, and villagers struggled to fill the king's granaries. The scent of dust lingered longer, the earth cracking under the sun's unyielding gaze. Families tightened their belts, their meals of injera and lentils stretched thin, the quiet gnaw of hunger, a constant companion. The kingdom's wealth, built on surplus, dwindled, and the gold coins that once gleamed in markets became rarer, their minting slowed by strained treasuries. Beyond the land, external pressures mounted. The rise of Islam in the 7th century reshaped trade, as Arab merchants forged new routes, bypassing Axum's ports. The Red Sea, once a highway of commerce, saw fewer Roman or Indian ships, their sails replaced by those of rival powers. You can picture the merchants in Agilis, their faces lined with worry, counting fewer profits as foreign traders turned to Jeddah or Busra. Axum's kings, still crowned beneath the stele, sent armies to protect their interests, but these campaigns drained resources. The memory of victories, like those against South Arabian tribes, faded as garrisons returned with fewer men, their absence felt in the quiet of highland homes. Internal struggles added to the strain. Rival nobles vied for power, their disputes fracturing the unity Azana had forged. Churches, once symbols of strength, became points of contention as local leaders challenged the crown's authority. The air in Axum's palaces grew heavy with whispered plots, the clink of goblets at feasts, masking tensions. The monasteries, like Debred Damo, remained sanctuaries, but their monks prayed for a kingdom slipping from its peak. The Christian faith endured, its chants echoing through stone chapels, but the kingdom's reach shrank, its borders pressed by neighboring tribes emboldened by Axum's weakness. By the 8th century, Axum retreated inland, its capital diminished, its ports like Agilis abandoned to the sands. The stele stood silent, their shadows longer as the city's pulse slowed. Yet this decline was not a sudden fall, but a gradual fading, like a fire burning low. Villages persisted, their farmers still tilling the earth, their lives adapting to a quieter world. The legacy of Axum's trade, faith, and art lingered, carried forward by the people who remained. Pause, music softens, evoking a gentle fade like the settling of highland dust. As Axum's twilight settles over the highlands, let us turn to the enduring traces of its legacy, echoes that resonate in the modern world. As the twilight of Axum's decline settles over its quiet highlands, imagine yourself standing once more on a hill overlooking the ancient capital. The air is cool, scented with the faint dust of stone and the sweet bloom of wildflowers carried on the evening wind. The stele, those towering sentinels, cast long shadows across the fields, their weathered surfaces a testament to a kingdom that once bridged continents. From the 1st to 10th centuries, Axum's farmers, merchants, and monks wove a legacy that endures, its threads woven into the fabric of modern Ethiopia and Eritrea. As we reflect on these echoes, let their gentle resonance, their quiet connection to our world, carry you toward rest, a final invitation to drift into the past. Picture the highlands today, where the stone churches of Axum still stand, their walls echoing the faith that Azana embraced. The chants of Giez, the ancient script you heard scratched onto coins and scrolls, still fill the air during festivals, their cadence unchanged across centuries. In modern Ethiopia, priests in white robes, much like those of Axum's monks, lead processions for St. Mary, their voices rising in the same hymns that once echoed in Debre Damo. The air carries the familiar scent of frankincense, burned in censers, a ritual that binds the present to the past. You can almost feel the continuity, the soft pulse of tradition that lingers in every chant, every cross carved in stone. The fields to bear Axum's mark. Farmers in Ethiopia's highlands still plough with tools, not unlike the wooden ards of their ancestors, coaxing teff from rocky soil. The sour tang of injera, shared in village meals, mirrors the bread that sustained Axum's people, its recipe passed down through countless hands. The terraces, carved into slopes to tame the land, remain a testament to the ingenuity of those early farmers, their labor etched into the landscape. As you imagine walking these fields, the crunch of earth underfoot and the distant bleat of goats feel familiar, a quiet reminder of the lives that shaped this land. Axum's trade routes, once bustling with caravans, have left their imprint on Ethiopia's markets. In cities like Addis Ababa, vendors barter spices and textiles, their stalls reminiscent of Agala's vibrant port. The gold coins, so carefully minted in Axum's workshops, inspired a tradition of craftsmanship. Seen today in Ethiopia's intricate silver jewelry and woven baskets, the Red Sea, though no longer Axum's lifeline, remains a highway for trade, its shores linking Ethiopia to the world, just as merchants once carried ivory to Rome and India. The air in these markets carries the same scent, cinnamon, myrrh, and roasted coffee, a sensory bridge to the past. The Kebra Nagast, with its tale of the Queen of Sheba, endures as Ethiopia's national epic, its verses recited in churches and schools. This story, blending myth and history, reinforces the pride of a nation that sees itself as heir to Axum's divine legacy. The churches of Lalibela, carved from rock in later centuries, echo Axum's stone sanctuaries, their builders inspired by the same faith that raised Debre Damo. Even the stelae, though silent, draw visitors who stand in their shadow, marveling at a kingdom that rivaled Rome. As you lie back, the night air cool against your skin, consider how Axum's echoes ripple beyond Ethiopia. Its Christian traditions shaped the Orthodox churches of Eritrea and influenced Coptic practices in Egypt. Its trade networks laid the groundwork for East Africa's global connections, a legacy felt in the ports of Djibouti and Somalia. The quiet resilience of Axum's people, their farmers, healers, and storytellers' lives, on in the rhythms of modern life, a testament to their enduring spirit. Let this reflection settle over you, like a soft blanket draped across the highlands. Axum's world, though distant, is not so far from ours. Its story is a gentle lullaby that ties the ancient to the present. As you drift, the hum of history carries you towards sleep, the past a comforting whisper in the night. And so, our journey through the ancient kingdom of Axum comes to a close, its fields, ports, and churches fading into the quiet of history, from the toil of the farmer, bending under the highland sun, to the gleaming coins of the minter. Each life wove a thread in Axum's vibrant tapestry. The stele stands silent, the chants of St. Mary's festival echo faintly, and the stories of kings and queens linger in the air, like the scent of frankincense on a breeze. As you rest now, far from the rocky slopes and bustling docks, let the weight of their world slip away. The past has carried you here, to a place of calm, where the rhythms of ancient lives blend with the softness of your own breath. Sleep well, wrapped in the gentle embrace of history, and let Axum's echoes guide you into dreams